We had great community involvement. So we had a really fantastic committee that represented the community, all aspects of the community. We brought them together. We studied together. We did it during the pandemic. We did it by Zoom, which in of itself was a challenge for something I certainly had never done. But we were very strategic in just addressing the topics and allowing space for people to express their opinions. And we did some site tours. We had committee members sign up and go visit campuses, and we would have them visit an older campus versus a newer campus. So take a look at a Dean Highland campus, see what that looks like compared to a Kendrick Elementary. So vast differences in facilities within our own community. And I think that was impactful. And so we built support with that committee immediately. I was very pleased with the margins. I've done a number of bond elections as an administrator and never had that kind of margin, actually. Usually they're very close. And so I was very pleased. I did consider that as a vote of confidence in what we're doing, but I also think that that people saw the need. It's not hard to see the need when you walk into some of our school buildings and see kind of the state of things. Right. We have old facilities. The first time I walked into Waco High School, I was just in shock at the condition of the building. I truly was. It's in bad shape. And when I saw it, I began to do some things immediately. I know there were some wires hanging down in one specific classroom that we got fixed right away. There was some broken furniture. We ordered furniture. Right. But there are things that I can't solve it. I couldn't solve the whole problem without a bond program to do that. And just that the age of the facilities is, I think there are a lot of negative perceptions of Waco ISD in the community. And I don't like them. They hurt my heart. I think a lot around the kids and behavior management, a lot around support and just how teachers are treated. And I've heard that since I got here. I actually heard it in a local store that I went to.
Treated by administration?
Treated by administration or supported or not supported. Right. And maybe just a general don't work in Waco ISD. I've heard that too, and it doesn't resonate well with me. I want to change that. I want to change the culture of the district. I want it to be a place that people want to work. I want a kind culture for our employees and a kind culture for our students. So I did hear that. I have heard that a lot since I have been in the district, and it is very worrisome. We're trying to overcome. Waco ISD has been behind the state. The pandemic didn't help us. We saw student achievement drop just like the state did with the pandemic. When I got here in the fall of 2019, we began to implement systems and structures to improve academic achievement. One being the development of a scope and sequence curriculum document, curriculum document that involved the input of teachers. And of course the pandemic hit just as we were getting organized to do that. We still did it. We used our curriculum staff to develop scope and sequence documents in 2020. We've been able to go back and refine those and add to those. That was one thing. And I listened to teachers when I got here through our design thinking sessions talk about the numerous programs that have been tried and how frustrating it was for them to have to roll and change programs every time new leadership came into the district. But we didn't have a curriculum in place, so it was necessary to do that. So we have been developing that since I got here, and that's been ongoing, including this summer. We've also shifted funding to ensure that we had what we needed to support students, whether that be through small group pull-out instruction or through the addition of teachers to support specific programs such as special education. We didn't have some programs that we needed to offer at the secondary level to support our special ed kids. We also began to work on developing capacity in our teachers for literacy and
capacity for
professional development.
Oh.
We started,
to recognize it.
really focusing on literacy development. So we used some federal stimulus funding to send 3 teacher leaders to Texas Women's University to become trained in reading recovery. They're going back this year and training a pull-out teacher from every elementary campus on how to implement that model. And then we implemented new curriculums for Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions for students who are struggling. Kids need more individual support. They need more practice with reading and reading fluency. And so anything that the community or parents can do to read with children, it would be so beneficial to them. That would be probably the one thing, if you solved in Waco ISD, that would make a difference. And I think that starts with leadership at the top, right? And keeping that continuity, getting the board to row in the same direction with the superintendent, and sticking with the work for time. And that's what I saw in my previous district. There was continuity for years and years, and it made a difference, because you not only are you're going to do some new things every year, but you're not going to turn over everything. You're going to strengthen what you already have. And so we were able to strengthen programs. There was a lot of loyalty to the team and to the work that we were doing, and so that developed over a long period of time. And it made a difference for kids, because the quality of our programs kept getting stronger and stronger, and that's what's needed in Waco ISD. Hard one. This has been a big issue for Waco ISD. We saw, I think pre-pandemic was a concern, but with the pandemic, we saw kids come back different. Kids who had been at home. As you can imagine, a student who was in 5th grade pre-pandemic missed 6th grade, maybe part of 7th grade. Those are important transitions. Kindergartners, 1st graders. And so we struggled mightily with behavior last year, and I listened to a lot of teachers talk about behavioral struggles in their classrooms and on their campuses in the spring, when I went out and did some listening sessions with teachers. And what I learned was there are a lot of ways we could improve. One was we could better prepare teachers to manage classroom behaviors. So one of the things that we did this summer was to offer a boot camp for our new teachers. We had about 75 teachers who came in a week early. We paid them, and we spent a whole week on behavior and talked about how to de-escalate situations, how to set up classroom management. And then we have a whole day tomorrow with differentiated instruction for differentiated instruction for our teachers on classroom management. So there'll be sessions for new teachers, specified topics for more advanced teachers. But I learned we could do a better job just in preparing teachers to manage behaviors. Also, I think we could do a better job with our leaders. So we sent all of our new leaders to training at the Educational Service Center about a week ago, and they focused on structures and routines of the campus to support students, and just how you manage kids during transition so that things run smoothly on the campus. I love being the superintendent. I do. There are days I don't love it, but most days I love it. It's challenging and it's rewarding. How has it changed over the years? I think the culture wars that you referenced earlier have made being the superintendent a little bit more challenging. But I think there's a theme for every year with a challenge. When you're a superintendent, there's always something hard. And so the last couple of years have been hard. I think what's different about that is it's been the same problem for a long time, right? Usually there's some kind of flare-up or problem and it's short-lived and then you move on to the next thing. COVID was this long, sustained, stressful thing that we all had to endure. So that was probably the biggest change. Other than that, the superintendent is constantly problem solving and trying, just like any CEO, working on strategy for the system. And so that hasn't changed. And that's what I love about the work. It's complex and there are rewards with being able to put all the pieces together. I'm excited. Our theme for this year is Lead from the Heart. And it's a theme that means a lot to me. It follows the work that we did this past year in developing a leadership definition for our school district. Waco ISD has been a part of the Holdsworth Leadership Pipeline Development Program. Howard Butt's mother, Mary Holdsworth, was a school teacher.
Yeah.
She was a school
great,
teacher.
Great
so
foundation that they have.
He built a leadership development center in Austin, and
Charles Butts.
He did. Mm-hmm. And so Waco ISD applied, and we were one of 14 school districts that was invited to participate this last year in this leadership development pipeline program. And one of the things that we were tasked with doing was to develop a leadership definition for Waco ISD. And so we brought in a task force of employees to help us craft our definition. So we have a new definition that is about leading from the heart. It's lead from the heart, lead with character, and lead for results. And so I'll be rolling that out to our employees. But I really want to talk about how we build connection with our kids and what that means to build connection with each other and our kids, because I think the culture is so important. So it's not just having the skills, but it's putting it all together with the right heart to do the work. And so that's the message this year. That's what it's always been about, right? It's about the love of the work that we do with the kids and building connection